Every gilded cage is built with walls of comfort. The only question is what you're paying for them.
All right, let's talk about Halloween. You know, when you think about it, your mind probably jumps straight to jack-o'-lanterns, crazy costumes, and just mountains of candy, right? It's this night of fun and frights that, let's be honest, most of us have loved since we were kids.
But what if I told you that underneath all that modern fun, there's a story that is way older, a lot more complex, and actually pretty controversial? A story that goes back thousands of years and gets into ancient rituals, spiritual warfare, and even secret societies.
So today, we are going to peel back the mask on this holiday that we think we know so well. We're going to ask, what are the real origins of Halloween's spooky side? And I think the answers are going to surprise you.
To really get to the bottom of this, we've got to go back in time. I'm talking way, way back, long before trick-or-treating was even a thing. We're heading into the world of the ancient Celts. According to historians, a ton of our Halloween traditions can be traced right back to this ancient pagan festival called Samhain. Now, this was a huge deal. It was their new year, a really powerful moment when they believed the boundary between our world and the spirit world got super thin.
So, what did they do to mark this day? Well, Celtic priests would build these enormous bonfires for huge feasts and offerings. And to keep themselves safe from all the spirits crossing over, people would actually dress up in costumes, disguising themselves as monsters and ghouls to blend in and confuse any ghosts. And get this, sound familiar? They'd leave offerings of sweets and wine outside to keep any evil spirits happy and away from their homes.
The festival also had a really important figure they honored, the crone. She was an elder priestess, a symbol of wisdom and the cycles of life and nature. And it's pretty wild how language changes, right? The word hag, which today we think of as the stereotypical evil witch, originally just meant a wise woman or a holy woman. Over the centuries, that perception just completely flipped.
Okay, now let's jump all the way forward to today. Because for a lot of people, Halloween isn't just some dusty old piece of history. There's this really powerful counter-narrative that sees the holiday not as just a party, but as a genuine spiritual danger.
This point of view is captured perfectly in this quote from Chuck Missler, who is a really well-known Christian author. He argued that Halloween is basically a gateway to the occult. So, for people who believe this, the holiday isn't just fun and games. It's an active spiritual battle.
And to understand why this concern is so serious for some, you just have to look at the numbers. Certain sources estimate that there are over 160,000 practicing witches in America right now, and some even say that number is a gross underestimate. This kind of statistic is often pointed to by critics as proof that these practices aren't some fringe thing anymore, but a growing part of modern life.
So what exactly are the worries from this perspective? Well, it's seen as a gateway that can lead people into what they call dangerous entanglements with the occult. The sources that present this view also bring up historical police accounts from the Satanic Panic era, which connected this time of year to alleged rituals with stolen animals and, in the most extreme claims, even children. Now, these claims are super controversial, but they're a huge part of the narrative for those who see Halloween as a real spiritual threat.
That word right there, occult, it is at the very heart of this whole controversy. But it's such a broad term, and it's often really misunderstood. So to really get what the arguments are about, we kind of have to define what we're even talking about.
The word occult literally comes from the Latin word for to conceal. It's basically a catch-all, an umbrella term for this huge collection of beliefs and practices that are mystical, spiritual, or magical. Things that are supposed to be hidden from plain sight.
And as you can see, that umbrella is incredibly wide. The term occult gets used to describe everything from mediums and psychics to stuff like astral travel and ritual magic. It's not just one thing. It's a massive spectrum of spiritual paths that often have nothing to do with each other.
The sources that warn about the occult often point to a whole range of specific groups. This includes secretive fraternities like the Freemasons, modern magical systems like Thelema, and even mystical traditions from major religions like Kabbalah, or esoteric Christian groups like the Rosicrucians. It even includes more infamous groups like the Order of the Solar Temple, a secret society with a much, much darker history. From that critical viewpoint, all of these different groups are seen as part of the same hidden world.
To really get the perspective of those who are warning against this stuff,
Testimonies like this one are incredibly powerful. This is from John Ramirez, a self-described ex-warlock. He claims his experiences with things like astral projection weren't some harmless spiritual journey, but were actual, direct ceremonies with demonic entities. I mean, that's a chilling first-hand account that frames these practices in a very specific and very serious way. So, we're left with a holiday that is just full of contradictions. Is it a totally harmless cultural thing, a sacred link to our ancient past, or is it something a lot more sinister? The truth is, it really depends on who you're talking to.
Let's just put these two stories right next to each other. On one side, you have the historical view. Halloween is a descendant of an ancient harvest festival. It's about honoring nature, remembering ancestors, and building community. But on the other side, you have the spiritual view. It's a modern threat, an open invitation to the occult, a celebration of darkness, and a potential path to demonic influence.
And that's really the key takeaway here. Halloween isn't just one thing. It's working on all these different levels at the same time. For a lot of people, it's a fun commercial holiday. For others, it's a real connection to ancient pagan history. And for another group, it's a night of serious spiritual meaning and potential danger. It exists right at this incredible intersection.
So ultimately, that leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to think about. When all the jack-o'-lanterns are lit and the trick-or-treaters are out, what are we really celebrating? Is it just a harmless tradition, a sacred history, or is it something more? The answer, it seems, is still hidden in the shadows.